What up? It's your boy Chaotic One, and yes, I'm back with another one. Once again, I will be reacting to Dame Dash. He is talking about John Legend. He talking about Joe Buttons, and who else? I think he talked a little bit about Cam a little bit. But what we're gonna do? We're gonna get into it. You ready? Let's do it.
Speaking of Cam, how did it come about him signing the Roc-A-Fella?
I mean, I was managing Cam Mason, Bloodshed, and Big L as a group called the Children of the Corn. This is before any of us really, I mean, like Big L at that point was doing the most. He had a deal, and Cam used to be around me a lot. He was the young fly guy because he was playing ball. He had won like at 15, he won MVP at the Rucker. And I was a little older than him, and I was getting more money than most kids my age, put it like that. And his aunt lived in 1199, or someone related to him by Bloodshed, his cousin Bloodshed. He lived in D building, I lived in B building. So I would see Cam downtown, and I would also see him because I was on 142nd, he was on 139th and 40th. So I would see him uptown. And so we had that kind of pause, kind of connection. And then he went.
I definitely want to see Dame. I want to see a pause or meter. I should do that on one of these videos. Like one time when I'm reacting, I should put a counter up of how many times Dame say pause.
So I was either way. Like I was like, so when I was moving Jay around, pause and the original flavor, I was also trying to do things with Children of the Corn, you know. But for some reason, I forgot what happened, and we went our different ways, and he ended up with and then we were kind of like we fell out for a minute. And I remember, I'd seen Cam and the Dipset, and they was with and they were rehearsing, and I think they had this record called F You, and they were rehearsing, and it was like they were rehearsing, and I just happened to be there. A lot went on that night. I ain't gonna hold you, but they were rehearsing. They were all going F You, and they were like doing it to me, like, and I was pissed the f off. Like, yo, let me talk to y'all. So I took him and Jim to the side, and I was like, yo, because he was with and them niggas was from Brooklyn, and I'm like, yo, I don't give a if we beefing or whatever. We from Harlem. We always got to stick together. Don't ever disrespect me in front of anybody. Like, we always got to be good money. It was a real serious conversation. And then I didn't see him for a while, and some other shit happened that night was crazy. You know, I got into it with or some shit, and everybody had to come down. It was crazy. But anyway, um, um, you know, years later, I think my man Rel called me because Rel's from the block and put me on the phone with Cam. And Cam, I was like, yo, what up? Because I wasn't ever gonna like turn my back on him. I guess things were going sideways with and I said, come over here. But first I had to get him off his deal. So, I went in there. Her name was Polly Anthony, I think her name was Polly Anthony. She was running shit at the time. And then there was this other A&R, and Cam and them linked on him heavy. Either way, we got him off Sony. I got MOP off Sony too, or helped strategically. And I brought him over to Roc-A-Fella from there. I mean, for me, anybody that I've with could come to Roc-A-Fella if they respected, the art. So that's why Big L was on his way to Roc-A-Fella. Like once I had the plug, pause. Like once we were on, I was trying to look out for everybody, to be honest.
That's one thing, man, I can honestly say that I like about Dame, regardless to what people say about him and him, making the statement about being a boss and then being in the position that he in right now. One thing I can say is that we all fall upon hard times, even the richest of rich people. It just happens. It's part of life. He could be down right now and up 1 minute. later on. So we can't sleep on the accomplishments. And that's one thing that I don't like with the hip hop community is that we always sleep on the accomplishments of the person because we're too busy trying to clown them, And yeah, Dame, I ain't gonna lie, he made some bad decisions, but he made a lot of great ones too, because we wouldn't know none of this rock movement without them making the moves that they did. And I'm almost sure that it was Dame the one that said, yo, we're gonna do it ourselves, because that's his mentality. So while we sleep on him, let's be real. But let's keep going. I'm sorry.
So that was a real thing then. Big L signing the Roc-A-Fella.
Yeah, it's not a rumor. That's a fact. I hadn't spoke to Jay about it yet, but I was doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And once I say I'm doing it, I'm doing it. So it was just a matter of us getting it. That would be the thing, is I always had to have sign off from all three of them, and this dude would be gone. So I had to do things different. But yeah, Big L, he was definitely. He was gonna be a Roc-A-Fella.
You think Jay would have been down with that?
I mean, he wasn't down with Kanye. He wasn't down with Nori. He wasn't down with Dipset. He wasn't down with a lot of shit. But at the time, because I had Biggs, it didn't matter what he thought, because it would always be 2-1, and Biggs would always rock with me. It's not like that now, but that was where, and now that I think about it, that's why he wanted to get rid of Biggs. Damn, I can't believe I never thought about that. It was because of the voting power.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. Jay still move like that to this day, regardless to what anybody say. Yes, that dude makes some boss moves and everything, but come on, man.
In all these years, I never thought about that. Damn. That's why he wanted to get rid of Big.
You think Big L signing with y'all would have took him to the next level?
Anyone that signed to Roc-A-Fella went to that next level. That was the algorithm. Algorithm wasn't even a word at that time, but the behavior pattern, the pattern was just based on, I had too many. Yeah, there's no way, because I had the thing is, when my block is clicking, I let people put their work on my block, and our block was clicking. And Big L was like, regardless to what, he was good. I'd have had him with the right producers. I would have had him with the right publicists. I would have been able to pay for co-ops. I would have been able to make sure that, he did his promo tours correctly. I would have been able to make sure he was surrounded by the right people. That's what I did with everybody. I'd have been able to make a movie. That was my thing. Every crew that came through made a movie, and he would have came through with a crew. And then him with like Dips. Oh my God, it would have been crazy. Him with MOP. Like even Graph, Graph is still rolling now. Like the guys that I had, the whole second phase of Roc-A-Fella set up. Like Cam, MOP, State Property, Joe Budden, Nori. I had all of that set up. Like
that would have been a slamming little second little run of a roster too. Like Dame was a smart dude, man. That's why, they had to get rid of him.
Roc-A-Fella wasn't going nowhere, and I was doing that from Rockware office. You know what I'm saying? And bringing the rock and roll and all that. Like if Roc-A-Fella wouldn't have got dismantled, it would. That's the only thing that's sad about it, is it didn't get to realize its full potential. We were just getting started.
And speaking of Big L, him and Jay had a battle, right?
They battled on 139th Street with me. Yeah, that happened.
How did that turn out?
It was a good time. In that moment, I would say Jay won, because he had to go on Big L's block and survive. But we went on Big L, but he went with me. You know what I mean? So Sean Arnold was like, "You think Jay's on?" Because they used to tease Jay every day in Harlem, all day long. They thought he was the class clown. They used to cut him up all day, until he blew up. And Steve Mack act like, he was doing that because he was with me. But I don't care what his reason was. They gave me hell over that guy. So when he would pull up, that's why we used to have to battle all the time. Because I'd be like, my man will bust your ass, pause. And he came to Harlem, and Sean Arnold came up and was like, "Yo, Big L's over there right now." I'm like, "Whatever, let's go." And we went over there. But again, it wasn't ever like a tough thing, because we were all family. That was really my neighborhood. Even though I was from 1199, I still consider dudes over there family.
Yeah, I seen something online about how Joe Budden, he never got a Roc-A-Fella chain. I had no idea he was on Roc-A-Fella.
Yeah, because I wasn't allowed to do my big one, Paul. But he didn't put out an album with us. So to get a Roc-A-Fella chain, you had to put out an album. So once you put out an album, that's when I would give you a chain. Like I wouldn't give you a chain. Sparks and Oskino never got chains either because they never put an album out. Big Face was telling me Sparks had brought that up the other day.
Yeah, I heard Jay, he didn't want to sign off on Joe album.
Of course not. Come on, man. I'm gonna give my rebuttal at the end. But yeah, man, that dude Jay is he's amazingly brilliant.
He didn't want no parts of that shit.
What was his issue with him?
What was his issue with everybody, bro? He always had an issue. I don't know. Jay was retiring since Reasonable Doubt. He wanted to get the fuck away from us since Reasonable Doubt. Like when I see everything, I'm like, why else would he retire every, year, and would not retire? So it was always a problem, with anything that kind of like had the potential to be another anchor for us, where we didn't have to depend on him. He didn't want none of that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. That would have been a dope move too, him being on Roc-A-Fella.
Now, I like that anytime that someone tried to lyrically battle him, that he would step right back. Like Joe Buttons could rap back then. I don't know what he's doing now, but back then he could rap. And also, like, he was like so what was happening was anyone that was kind of on Def Jam, that was getting neglected. Like Joe Budden, I think, was on Def Jam, and so was Nori, and they were shitting on them. So I'd be like, yo, just come with us. You know what I mean? Like, Twister was supposed to be a Roc-A-Fella. I gave him a chain, I think. But Craig Coleman was hating, and Kanye fucked that deal up. Common Sense was supposed to be a fucking Roc-A-Fella. John Legend was supposed to be a Roc-A-Fella. Like I toured John Legend. I would have never took John Legend on the road with Kanye and paid for him to go around the world to sing before Kanye sang, unless I thought that he was going to sign with Roc-A-Fella. He did some sneaky shit and went to Sony. But we broke John Legend's career as well.
So here's my rebuttal on that whole situation. Like, Dame has done a lot of stuff, man. Dame putting in work. Dame has been putting in work. Dame has been a hustler. I don't care what nobody say. Like, we all are entitled to how we feel about a situation and an opinion about something. And in my humblest opinion, I feel like, Dame made some mistakes like we all have done at some point in our lives. And but you can't erase what he has built, because none of this would be in existence if it wasn't for the thoughts of them three guys putting their heads together. And I'm almost sure that it was Dame that said, yo, we're going to go do it ourselves, because that's his mentality. Jay is that quiet, sneaky dude making the sneaky moves that he made, whereas Biggs was just that quiet dude with a little paper, but he was more cool as far as Dame goes. So I feel like, yeah, Dame is right and exact with a lot of stuff that he's saying. And I hate to see that, Roc-A-Fella didn't get to, flourish to the next level of where it could have been. I mean, Jay did hold Roc-A-Fella on his shoulders. I give him that. But at the same time, Jay didn't give nobody else room for, them to be a Jay-Z on Roc-A-Fella, if you know what I mean. So, in my opinion, I just think Jay wanted the whole movement for him. That's what it's always been about. It's been about him. And Dame is right. Every year he was retiring, and he was retiring to get away. But it was a game plan to begin with, because Jay wanted to be where he is right now and move how he moves. And that's just my thoughts on it. But until the next video, it's your boy Chaotic One. This is the Cam HP YouTube channel right here, man. Home of reactions. We get it in, and we reacted to your boy Dame Dash. And if you like what you heard or what you see, hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell and join the family over here at Cam HP TV, baby. That's how we get it in. Until the next video, I holla. Peace.